either do the math or just go with your gut, and either way you draw the same conclusion, and that's that Barack Obama is on the side of bigger, more controlling government and higher taxes.
Welcome back to Harbor. With just 8 days to go till we actually vote, all of us, infighting in the McCain campaign is coming to a boil, especially between the McCain and Palin camps. A McCain advisor recently said on Palin, quote, "She is a diva. She takes no advice from anyone. She does not have any relationships of trust with any of us, her family, or anyone else. Also, she is playing for her own future and sees herself as the next leader of the party. Remember, divas trust only themselves as they see themselves the beginning and end of all wisdom." Well, that's a bit catty. And a close Palin ally said, quote, "The campaign as a whole bought completely into what the Washington media said, that she's completely inexperienced. Her strategy was to be trustworthy and a team player, but she felt completely mismanaged and mishandled and ill-advised. Recently, she's gone from relying on McCain advisors who were assigned to her to relying on her own instincts." Just how bad has the finger-pointing gotten? Let's go to Roger Simon of Politico and Margaret, Carlson, Bloomberg. Margaret, this is really nasty. The McCain people say this person is not the person they wanted. She's a diva, not the woman next door. She's not, whatever, Sarah the plumber or Sarah the governor. She's bad news. On the other hand, she's saying what you often hear from VP nominees, you gave me the wrong handlers.
Well, it's a little early for this. We're now into the pre-blaming for a loss that hasn't happened. However, obviously the word diva went out among those who in the McCain group, and that's the word they're using to characterize this person who had her own thoughts. She started early being a little bit of a rogue. Remember, she disagreed publicly with McCain pulling out of Michigan and said, well, Todd and I are going to Michigan, maybe you're not. And then it went downhill from there. Yesterday, she said in Florida, listen, this clothing thing, I shouldn't be blamed for it. The clothes showed up. I put them on. I didn't even want them.
Just like the lights.
Yeah.
And the lights and the
It's just like everything else, the stage set. At the next event, she didn't say a word about the clothes. So there's still somebody in the McCain campaign who has control over Sarah Palin, because that was the end of that.
Is she running for 2012 already?
Absolutely.
That's what I think.
She is absolutely running for 2012. She knows she's not going to be elected vice president this year. In 2012, all the little things like the clothing and taking her kids on airplanes and even the abuse of power accusations will be old news. What the McCain campaign didn't do in the last few months, which was vet her, who had been already vetted by the press.
Do you think Roger Ailes over at Fox is already arguing over the clothing allowance? Do you think they're already fighting over that one?
But it's also fair to say this was the first presidential level decision John McCain made. He picked Sarah Palin. And it's fair to say, as the Obama campaign says, if you can't run a campaign, can you run the government?
Well, let's face it, it was a Hail Mary attempt to try to win the election and do something that he didn't want to do with Mitt Romney or Palin. Right. But I thought her most telling comment a couple of weeks ago, and by the way, I listened to her whole speech this morning, I think she's smart. I think she's politically talented with a big future. I'm not sure how big. Maybe not presidential, but I think she's in the business. She's as talented as most of the people that ran last year, by the way. If you look at those debates, if she was one of those 7 or 8 or even 10 at one point, she'd fit in there nicely. Let me ask you, when she said, I got nothing to lose, that told me everything.
She said that to Rush Limbaugh, and she meant it. Because from that point on, she really was more or less a rogue candidate. You know, she's not as knowledgeable as those candidates you're speaking of, but she has it. She has that thing that attracts people to her.
Men and women both.
Men and women both.
Appeal.
Maybe she can learn enough, but she is more suited at the moment to a game show than she is to the vice presidency.
Well, I have a question. Would you upgrade her if she did run for president? I don't think you can do the windshield wiper wave if you're running for president of the United States. It's very, it grabs you, it's very attractive, and it's very, I hate to say, it's very careful how you use these words. I think it's very appealing, to be very nice, to be attractive. And yet I don't think it sounds like gravitas, that windshield wiper.
No, but she is also much...
Did I do something wrong right there? Tell me what's wrong these days. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
She's also comfortable, much more comfortable than McCain is, in talking about God, guns, and values to Republican-based voters. She talks to those people, and they listen to her. That's why she excited the base. That's why he had a good
values.
vacation.
Taxes are bad.
Absolutely.
Government is bad.
More than taxes,
Spending in Washington is bad.
She is comfortable talking about Christian Christian values. She is comfortable talking about guns. And don't forget, she'll have a lot of talking points on how badly McCain ran the campaign, that he didn't attack on Jeremiah Wright, that he didn't use Obama's statement about how people in small towns cling to their guns and religion, how he pulled out of Michigan. You know, everything that went wrong for McCain in this campaign is ammunition for Sarah Palin.
You're at the very heart of this, of my trust in McCain. He doesn't want to use Jeremiah Wright because to a lot of people that's ethnic, that's going to inner city religion, a certain brand of religion, a certain brand of evangelical Christianity, which is very harsh, and it's like my religion's version of liberation theology. It's very political. But a lot of people would see that as racial, because you're going after a guy in the inner city and blasting a black preacher. And I think McCain, to his credit perhaps, doesn't want to do that, because it's ethnic, it's racial. You say she doesn't mind doing that. What does that tell you about her?
Well, there's a line he didn't want to cross.
Why does she cross it? Why does she go where he dare not go?
Because he knows, he thinks, I think in his darkest moments, that he may lose. And he wants to get out of this without anyone ever having said he's a racist. He played the race card and he failed. He got warned about that, and he backed off from it. I think she has no fears about that. She's saying, look, I'm not a racist. I'm just pointing out his association with a worse guy than Bill Ayers, a closer relationship, more recent relationship. You want to call me racist? Fine. I think John McCain does not want to go there.
You will hear, by the way, Palin complain about McCain. McCain himself cannot complain about Palin because he put so much on her, insisted she'd been vetted. He wasn't surprised by anything. Not her lack of knowledge, not
Remember
the church,
George Bush Sr.
nothing.
wrote in his diary, I made a big mistake picking Dan Quayle, but I can't admit it.
Yeah.
Well, I shouldn't laugh. Why'd I laugh? That was a menacing laugh. I don't want to be menacing. These
You're
guys
like John McCain
these
laughing
guys
at the
all have
wrong
more
moment.
guts than I do, or they do, or we do. They went out there and put their necks out. Anyway, Roger Simon, you people are so astute. Margaret, Carlson, I'm so happy to be here with you. I mean it.
Well, thank you, Chris.
I learn something every time I sit down with you.